Welcome to the Mono Beginner Crash Course. In this tutorial we will look at adding simple assets and then adding simple materials, more as an introduction to assets and materials in Unity. Let's jump in. Unity has several basic primitive shapes you can add to a Unity scene, such as cube, sphere, capsule, cylinder, a plane, which has many polygons, and a quad, which has very few polygons, and a text, which we'll have to add with an import TextMesh Pro asset here. You can, of course, edit assets with the inspector window, such as color, size, or text, and things like that. The best way to add them is to right-click on a game object in the hierarchy, go down to 3D Object, and select the asset you want to add. This way sets the location of the asset in the hierarchy, rather than having to move it under one of the key parent assets after it has been placed. As noted, all assets need to be a child of the space, artifacts, or portals game object. Many of these assets will already have a collider component attached. Colliders are what a player will run into or stand on. If an asset such as the floor or a wall doesn't have a collider, the player will either fall through it or can walk through it. We will go into this in more detail in a later tutorial. You may also want to add simple materials to these assets. We will add some simple materials to modify the color, metallic, smoothness, and emission. First, we need to create the material to edit. Right-click on the folder in the project window you would like to add it to, go to Create, and then Material. This will create the material to work with. We recommend getting into the habit of naming your assets as soon as you make them, as this will save you trouble later. Clicking on the material, we can see all of its parameters. You can use the object preview at the bottom to see your material in action. You can easily change the type of asset with the button here. Color is simply color. If you want a material that has transparency though, you can do that with the alpha channel, and you will need to change the rendering mode at the top here to cutout, fade, or transparency. Don't worry about the details for now, apart from the fact that each one looks better than the last at the cost of processing, with cutout being the fastest and transparency being the slowest. Metallic and smoothness is a common approach to what is called physics-based rendering, or PBR for short. Usually metallic is either 0 or 1, and is kind of a reflective result. Smoothness is how smooth or polished the object is. Other applications and engines may use roughness instead. Emission is further down here. If you want your material to emit light in Mona, the bloom effect will use this setting. You can first turn this on, and then adjust the color and intensity of the emission. Generally, I don't recommend setting it above 2, as the bloom effect will get quite distracting. Once you have a material to your liking, you can apply it to your asset by either dragging it onto the asset in the space, or dragging it onto the asset in the hierarchy. With that done, we can do a quick test in browser by clicking the playground button at the top here, and dragging the playable files from the Explorer window into the playground in the browser. As you can see, the bloom effect kicks in. Users can affect how much bloom there is in the settings as well. In this tutorial, we covered how to add simple primitive objects within Unity and how to apply simple materials to them. In the next tutorial, we will have a look at considerations that should be made when making assets for a WebGL environment. Thanks for watching, and happy building!